Hello, this is Virgil Labrador, Editor-in-Chief of Satellite Markets and Research, and we're here at the ETL Systems booth at the IBC in Amsterdam 2018 with Ian Hilditch. He's the CEO of ETL Systems.
That's right, yeah.
So Ian, just for the benefit of our viewers who are not familiar with your company, since it's been a while since we did a video interview with ETL, can you give a brief overview of what your company does?
Sure. Virgil, great talking to you. We are a manufacturer and designer of RF equipment for the satellite communications industry. Mm-hmm. We basically make equipment between an antenna and a modem on a satellite downlink and uplink. Mm-hmm. We're heavily involved in gateways for all types of satellite communications. So this can be GEO, MEO, LEO.
Right.
A lot of exciting happenings happening with the new HTS satellites,
yes.
And so we're heavily involved in the ground segment of those.
Oh, good, yeah. And you've been a CEO for 15 years now, right?
Sure have. It's been a long 15 years.
There's a lot of changes in the industry since then.
We've had a lot of fun actually over the last 15 years. We've grown every year for 15 years. We've gone from a very small company to a medium-sized company. We supply 8 of the top 12 NATO governments. We supply 14 of the top 20 satellite operators. We're involved with numerous broadcasters around the world. And I think last year we supplied something like 106 different countries. So that's pretty extraordinary for a smallish UK company.
Right.
And I've been sort of heavily supported by a very strong team back in the UK and the US and Dubai who've helped us to achieve that growth.
Right. And I see your booth in all the major shows all over the world. In Singapore, and the US. And,
well, if you're going to be operating in international markets, which we are, you've got to be there.
Right.
You know, you've got to get on the plane and you've got to go and see your customers. And, you know, that's part of the reason that we supply 106 different countries.
Right. So what are you highlighting here at the show?
Well, we've got numerous new products. I think fiber is an area that in the last 5 years has been a very strong growth area for us, and that's generally a RF over fiber links between antennas and equipment rooms. And what we've got in front of us here today is our fairly new DWDM offering. This is particularly interesting for Ka-band diversity sites. So as you know, a lot of the HTS satellites are Ka-band driven.
Right.
And that gives you great throughput, but it also makes you potentially a bit more vulnerable to bad weather.
Right.
So people are tending to put diversity sites for their gateways.
Right.
And you link your main and diversity sites with DWDM over fiber, which gives the user big savings in terms of leased fiber lines. Makes it a slightly more complicated system, but something that ETL's proud to offer and pleased to offer. And we've got the whole package, so we're doing conversion from RF into fiber, we're doing multiplexing, we're doing EDFA amplifiers, dispersion compensation fibers and delay lines, which are all part of an overall DWDM system.
Right.
So we've just delivered our first several of those systems for various countries. India and Indonesia are the 2 latest ones, which we're very excited about.
Oh, good, good. Any other things you're highlighting here?
Sure. So just behind me, we've got a much smaller fiber offering. We probably can't see it right now, but we'll have a look at it in a minute.
Yes.
And that is for VSAT antennas, so a deployable solution for SNG or military satellite operators. We've got a very compact antenna mount outdoor fiber converter. This is for uplinks and downlinks. We can provide an Ethernet bridge to the antenna, so for controlling your buck or your HPA.
So this is for SNG?
It's for SNG type or military, tactical flyaway terminals. So you can have your antenna further away from your people and your modem. So for SNG that can be useful, and for more military applications that can be useful. So that's new. And then going over to our switch matrices, we've got our H series, so the Hurricane and the Harrier are our latest matrix offerings, and those are introducing some really radical new technologies. So we've got what we call configurable input-output modules. It's been very well received by our customer base. So depending on the configuration of a gateway or a teleport, I can have fiber inputs into the matrix. I can have variable gain inputs into the matrix, which allow me to compensate for coax cable losses, or just have a straight unity gain matrix. And obviously all of these come with the sort of resilience that's made ETL so well known for our matrix offering. So we have dual CPUs, dual redundant power supplies, and hot swap of all active components.
Right, right.
So those are some of the newer things. Our Griffin switch is a nice little thing. I mean, it's a relatively small product, but for modulator redundancy, that's a very neat solution. Hot swap again, and easy to install multiple applications.
Right. Obviously, you said you've started as a small startup, and now you're, in a good position in the market. It's a very competitive field you're at. There's several players in that. How do you differentiate yourselves from your competitors?
Interesting question. I mean, I think there are a few competitors, but there are very few that are like ETL. So probably one of our major door openers, if you like, is customization. So we work with a lot of companies to take a standard offering and change it slightly to meet their exact requirements.
Right.
So that's a big part. And then we really have a focus on resilience and reliability in our designs. So we were the first people to introduce, for example, dual redundant CPUs on matrices.
Right.
And when we look at the most successful products that we have, so our matrices, our redundant amplifiers, our fiber,
right,
the feedback we get from our customers that they love that resilience in our design. So I think that's been a really key thing. And then, much more simplistically in some ways, but so important as one of our core values is customer empathy. So you hear a lot of people talking about customer service. We take that to another level with customer empathy, and we try and make sure that the designs, the support, the quoting, all of us are really focused on things from a customer's perspective. And the satellite industry is a very small industry, really. People move within the satellite industry from one company to another.
Right.
You have to do a good job, or else you get a bad reputation.
Right.
And I think people know we do a good job, and that reputation has sort of helped to build the company. And I think we genuinely do offer customer empathy, and I think that genuine has driven our success.
Yeah, it's a very good term.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So Ian, you've been a CEO for 15 years. What else can we expect from ETL, and where do you see the company in the next few years?
Well, hopefully we'll carry on growing. We've been growing at about 15% a year for the last 15 years, so we want to carry on with that growth. There are new areas that we're getting into. We've just talked about DWDM, and fiber is a fast growth area. We've got some new products that are in development for addressing the LEO market if and when that comes into fruition. And I think those are going to be quite exciting for our future growth. And then some other areas that I can't get into quite so much, where we're developing new products at the moment, which will keep us within SATCOMs, but hopefully open up our offering a little bit more so that we can carry on growing.
Excellent. Ian, thank you very much for that overview.
Much, Virgil.
All right.
Nice to speak to you.
Yeah, and for all the news and information in the global satellite industry, you always have Satellite Markets and Research at www.satellitemarkets.com.